of all, you guys stood up in opening statement, okay? And you told this jury. And there is no evidence she's a gang member. This is associated with a gang member.
It's not just, it's further than that.
I'm not done. So you get up in opening statement and you say, this was just a romantic getaway. She thought she was going with her boyfriend somewhere. She didn't know any of these individuals involved. She had no idea that this was going to be a gang-related anything. That's what you told this jury in opening statement.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Did y'all see what happened today when the judge put belt to ass to the defense in the Julio Foolio murder trial, Alicia Andrews versus Florida? Man. If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Man, today we definitely got to dig right back into this Julio Foolio murder trial with Alicia Andrews versus State. Now, the defense has been scrambling since the start of this case, and today the judge just wasn't having it. Now, the day started off just like the rest of the days, with the state continuing to hammer down on the defense, introducing key evidence that does tie Alicia Andrews to the other conspirators, but have they introduced the evidence to tie her to this actual crime? Now remember, the state is alleging that Miss Andrews played a key role in the demise and unaliving of Julio Foolio. But have they actually shown that concrete evidence that puts her right there? We know she was physically there, but have they actually shown any evidence exposing her part? Well, today, the state came out with new evidence, new witnesses, and man, the defense seems to be falling apart right here in front of her face. Before we dig deeper into what happened and break it all down, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a drop. And whether you're a fan of Alicia Andrews, Julio Foolio, ATK, the defense, or the state, man, hit that like button to help the channel continue to grow. It's free. Hit that like button, do it for me. Y'all know the vibes. Grab a seat, we finna dig deep. Is it possible that she really didn't even know they were about to take Julio out? She was just riding along to go to McDonald's? So the state just got finished with the witness, and now the defense is going up for the first cross of the day. Can the defense actually start creating reasonable doubt with this witness testimony? Let's dig.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So you, in this case, at least, you're responsible, or were responsible for analyzing different casings and cartridges to figure out whether there was any match to any other case. Is that accurate?
Correct. I was asked to do the microscopic comparisons of the submitted evidence.
All right. In your work at FDLE, do you do any other types of analysis?
Meaning in a different discipline or within firearms?
Within, like DNA analysis, fingerprint analysis, anything like that?
No, I only do firearms.
Okay. So you wouldn't be the person to ask about whether there was any DNA or fingerprints on any of these weapons or the cartridges or anything like that?
No, sir.
All right, that's somebody else in your department or in your office?
Yeah, there's other sections that would do whether DNA or fingerprints was present.
All right. So you're just trying to determine whether the evidence that you recovered, that was given to you, that was submitted to you, actually matches some other evidence out there in the world.
Yes, I'm just trying to determine if, these cartridge cases came from the same firearm and or the submitted firearm or not, and same for projectiles.
Okay. And you were able to determine, I guess what you were testifying to, you were able to determine that these two firearms, these rifles here, that these two rifles that were found in Sean Gathride's house, they were used in some other October 7th, 2023 shooting?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
These two rifles, what are they connected to?
So I concluded that, sorry, let me refer to my notes, I apologize, that the...
Judge, I would object to the question is phrased. What are they connected to is vague.
I'm going to sustain the objection, rephrase.
Right, what kind of dumb question was that?
What is the purpose of these, of showing these rifles to the jury?
Objection.
No.
What is the purpose of showing safety on this firearm, on these rifles? I don't even know what the objection is at this point. There's no legal basis. It's just an objection.
Objection to the speaking.
It's irrelevant and it's improper question.
It was elicited in front of the jury.
Sir, see, this is why she might be in trouble, because y'all have one job, and it's just to create reasonable doubt. This man said he doesn't even understand the objection, so you gonna keep talking instead of try to check for understanding? Okay, see how that worked. Overrule, sustain, re-ask the question. This guy here, bruh. I feel bad for Miss Andrews, but again, she put herself in this position. Let's dig.
I don't know which case you're referring to. I have many reports.
No. 23rd shooting for this case, right?
Okay, so this case. Sorry, I apologize, sir.
So in this case, the one that we're here for today, the one that Alicia Andrews is on trial for.
Objection, Your Honor. Inappropriate phrasing.
So go ahead and just answer the question if you can.
In this case, are these rifles connected to the shooting in this case.
Vagueness.
Rephrase your question.
Were these rifles used in this shooting?
So I determined that the projectiles I received, items 1 and 4 in this case, were inconclusive to the item 8 rifle, which is the 5.56 rifle, meaning I didn't have enough detail to say whether or not it was ID'd to that firearm or not.
Okay, that's for that one rifle. The one.
Correct.
Now, what about the other rifle?
For that rifle, I was able to ID it to a projectile in one of my cross-reference cases.
But not in this case.
No.
No further questions.
Redirect?
So going to counsel's question about whether that rifle was utilized in this case, you didn't have enough evidence to make that determination, correct?
Yeah, based on the evidence I received, I had the 2 bullets that were inconclusive to the 1 rifle, and the 2 no value items, and then the 1 item was eliminated based on class difference, but that's all the evidence I received in this case.
The one item, the one rifle was eliminated.
The item 1 fired bullet jacket was eliminated to the item 9 rifle.
The blackout, the 300 blackout.
That is correct.
Okay. As to the other rifle, the 2 jacketed projectiles you had, you did not have enough, but all of the class characteristics met up, correct?
Objection leading. Counsel's testifying.
I can rephrase. Did all the class characteristics line up?
Yes, the class characteristics were the same between the items 1, 4, and that rifle.
So you can't say if it was used or not.
Correct.
It's possible it was.
That is a possibility.
Overruled. Overruled. Okay, thank you. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good.
Now, the defense is definitely feeling the pressure from the state. As you see, it's early in the day, and the defense is already falling apart. Now, in the defense, on their behalf, what I will say is that the witnesses that the state are introducing are definitely cumulative witnesses. They're definitely coming up saying the same thing. One thing that the defense does keep saying with each witness that comes up is, where's Alicia's DNA? Now, that is a good point. But remember, in conspiracy, with the law of principle, we're not looking for DNA. It's great that the defense keeps hammering that home like they're supposed to really change the outcome of the situation. They never alleged that she was actually a shooter, touched any firearms, or handled any of the ammunition. What they said is she's part of the plot that got Foolio shot. Let's dig.
Right, Ms. White, are you arguing this
Yes,
issue?
Your Honor. So we obviously review our objections and just honestly just highlight a couple things about the fact that this is just character evidence. Specifically, there's conversations where Ms. Andrews is saying, I won't do this to you, I wouldn't do that to you. And that's kind of what this goes back and forth. Any conversation that is, I believe maybe what the state is suggesting is related to gangs is not on behalf of Ms. Andrews. It's on behalf of someone else who again is not charged in this case. And outside of being alleged to have been a gang member is not connected to this case at all, specifically these charges. So we object again based on that information. But if the court is going to allow it in, we believe for context purposes, everything should come in. Everything about the romance and I just want to be a good person and I don't want to be involved in this, all that information should come in before the jury as well, even though we believe it's not relevant.
Okay.
Proper character evidence.
So it sounds like they want the whole thing to come in.
We don't.
No, I know. I've seen your objections, but if you're forced to choose between a redacted version or a complete version, you would opt for complete, correct?
We don't believe that the state should be allowed to cherry pick information.
Well, they were cherry picking. They were doing what I asked them to do.
Well, I mean, as far as the redaction,
Right.
they should be allowed to place only into evidence the information that appears to be negative towards Ms. Andrews.
Sure.
Now, that is a good fight for the defense. Now, to be fair, you don't want to allow the state to use the evidence that they want to use. They want to introduce it all in context. But here's the thing. In my opinion, I feel like when the state does introduce this, whether the defense lets it come in redacted or in the full context of, this might actually backfire again on the defense. Because again, those messages are all contradicting previously. It's fine that you have new messages now saying that, hey, I just want to be a good person. I don't want to do this and blah, blah, blah. But the night that y'all was stalking Julio Foolio, you got a screenshot of this man. Your boyfriend's arguing with him on Twitter. Y'all followed this man around. Y'all just happened to be driving from one city 4 hours, 5 hours away to go to McDonald's. And just happen to run into your top op. Make it make sense. Not to mention the text messages. You want them dead, but you was just joking. These were all joking messages. So We, as the jury and the actual people that are breaking the trial down and watching it, we're supposed to disregard that, leave that context out, and let's just focus on after the fact. When you realize the pressure was on, now you want to start sending out text messages saying that you're a good person, you're a babysitter, you just want it all to stop. Why didn't you get out the car when you got to Jacksonville McDonald's? See, this is what the defense is about to try to spin a narrative to try to make it make sense on their behalf. They're going to say that she was forced because she just wants to be a good person. She had the opportunity to be a good person. Did she report the crime? Did she hop out? Why you got a screenshot of another man in your phone if you're not part of it? And he a op with your man? Psh, let's dig.
I'll overrule the objection, the whole thing come in.
Your Honor, I just need a few seconds to run outside and let the witness know about that.
Sure.
But if we can please, if there's any objection to the other items, address that first.
Okay, what
Yes.
other item?
So there is 75C12.
Okay,
I don't know if you want to write it down
Through
or you just want
16.
through 16.
That are being added, Your Honor.
wait, 75C
12
12 and 13.
through 16.
12 through 16. Okay, what are these?
Would y'all want to take it from the finish first?
Well, state, just tell me what they are, and then I'll hear what the objection is.
Additional instructions from Ms. Andrews' devices.
Okay. Can I look at them?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what are the objections? Let's,
Well,
okay, let's start with C12. And let the jury know, we just had something come up and we'll be with them shortly.
Your Honor, may I stand at the bench so I can see the picture first?
Sure. Okay, C12 is, looks like photographs, thumbnail.
Correct, Your Honor.
So those are screenshots, I believe, or maybe photos of Ms. Andrews and two individuals that I don't even believe the state will be able to establish who they are. I don't know how they're going to establish that. I would let them, talk about why they want to get this in. But from our perspective, again, they have absolutely nothing to do with this case. And you're going to see a pattern between 13 or 12 to 16 that this is, again, an attempt to introduce improper character evidence by the state to, I don't know, I guess the argument is that alleged that she has knowledge, and I just don't know how far this is going to go, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know, I'm guessing, I'll let the state answer, but it's something to do with the alleged gang sign? Is that what this is
That is
relevant
correct, Your
to?
Honor, and the date at which that photo was taken or was retrieved from Ms. Andrews' device as having been captured on that device predates when she gave her statement of when she knew this co-defendant, Mr. Chance, and several questions were asked on cross-examination yesterday regarding whether they knew whether Ms. Andrews had the phone when the photos or screenshots were taken that were introduced versus her co-defendant. These would have been before the
See? Again, no affiliation, but you banking. No affiliation, but your phone, you have pictures of you throwing up the set, but you have no knowledge of it, no affiliation. See, this is why I said this is going to backfire. Look at the defense's face. Look at this man back here in the back. Look at his face.
co-defendant's involvement.
I don't think that's an accurate characterization of what we were asking. There were specific photos that the state was referencing, and the question was whether or not that witness could testify as to whether Ms. Andrews had the phone at the time those screenshots were taken. So it's not about every phone that was backed up, every picture that was backed up on her iCloud device. That's not what the question was about. There were, I believe, 3 specific photos that we asked the question about whether or not that witness could say Ms. Andrews took these screenshots and she was the person who did it.
Well, Detective Grayback, he was questioned about, because the phone, I guess her phone, I don't know, I heard this, that it disappeared, was no longer available, something along those lines.
That device has not ever been recovered.
Never been recovered. So then she gets a new phone on, I think it was June the 26th, correct? And then the download happens on the 26th, correct?
Correct, from iCloud to
From
device.
iCloud
Which is
to
the
the
device
new.
that disappeared, Your Honor. This would have been information that would, the iCloud was taken.
Right.
So,
But
yeah.
Detective Grayback was questioned about his knowledge and if he knew who downloaded those photos originally and when they would have been downloaded. And there was specific questions on cross-examination noting the date of June the 26th. And definitely the implication was, and I think actually, Mr. McLyma asked the detective if he knew if there was any evidence that Miss Andrews at times lent her phone to Mr. Chance.
That was asked.
That was
Correct.
asked.
Which has been testified to by the state's witnesses. That's a known fact.
Okay.
No one's disputing that. It was the state who implied that because she had only had the phone for a day or so, that somehow that meant information was missing, even though they have the entire iCloud with 370,000 different artifacts. So I guess the implication was that there was some information missing. The point is, the information is from the iCloud, it's not the device. I can throw my phone in the river and download my entire iCloud and get the exact same things on my new iPhone that I had on my old iPhone.
Let's dig. Now, let's just say that the defense is correct with the motion in their argument with the actual cell phone and the data being transferred over. Here's the problem. It's not the original cell phone. If it was the original cell phone, we probably wouldn't be having this part of the conversation. But we don't, because the original cell phone disappeared. Now, As an Android and an iPhone user, you can pick and choose what gets saved to an iCloud. If you want to put a new contact in your phone, it gives you the option. Do you want it saved to your iCloud? Do you want it saved, or do you not want it saved, or just saved to the phone? So it's a lot of stuff that can actually be saved to a phone that doesn't transfer over to the iCloud. I get where she's going, but again, those are not facts. That's just an opinion-based situation based off of that scenario. But there's a lot of different ways. If there's nothing to hide, why is the phone gone? Let's dig.
But the bigger issue is the questions that were asked specifically about the photos that were attempted to be entered into evidence yesterday. They were not about every photo that exists in her iCloud. But I think the even bigger issue is, Your Honor, where does this end? At what point are they not allowed to just keep introducing irrelevant information about, the 50 different gang members that she lives, within a 5-mile radius of that she's come across? They can't even tell us who this person is. They won't even be able to establish who that person is. Whether or not she slapped him in the face and said, "Why did you throw that sign up?" They can't, none of that matters though. It's not relevant to the allegations in this case. This is becoming a please find her guilty because she knows gang members case. That, and we've, 70% of what we discussed about Ms. Andrews is about who she knows and not how she's connected to this murder. And at some point it has to stop, Your Honor.
Okay, let me take a look at the other ones real quick. So that is C12, C13. It looks like these are photographs again.
It's actually a video, but there's only one still from the video. If Your Honor can see the last page of the still from the video.
Right.
Extracted.
Okay, and what's the significance of that?
The individual depicted in this image is the individual that Ms. Andrews is messaging with from the messages that we've just looked at that the state was providing potential redactions to. He is a member of the opposing group, and those messages are pretty clear as to what it relates to their conversation. This is them in a relationship prior to her involvement with ATK and 1200.
So is a picture.
Is this the
So we had to make sure we stopped it right there because I don't want that to go over y'all's head. Now the state is playing chess, and I'm not sure again what game the defense thinks that they're playing. Now, why are they wanting to show this? Think about this. The story that we've heard already is what? She went out. One of the things in question that the defense and the state were going back and forth over was, why did she wear a mask? Why did she wear a mask to certain events, certain occasions, certain outings at certain locations? Now, let's not forget, they also said she dated one of the members previously from the other side. So why would she wear a mask if they're out stalking the ops? No reason to wear a mask to eat your McDonald's, as they say, right? But why would you wear a mask? If y'all are out and you don't know anything about it, you wore a mask going around to the same vicinities where they were at. And I'm speaking of 6 block members, Foolio, his gang that night. Y'all wore a mask in the same vicinities that they were in. Does it not make sense why she wore a mask now? She didn't want to get spotted because they already know what she looks like. If they see her out there then, and they already know she's dating the other side, you don't think Julio and them would have seen the plot? See, the state is playing chess. The defense is playing Tonk or Connect 4. But maybe draw or 21. I don't know what they playing. But right now, they playing with this girl's life. Let's dig.
okay, Shorty? Okay.
And if I recall, Your Honor, I believe the point of that this entire text thread was not to show that they were in a relationship, to show that she had knowledge that he had some sort of gang involvement. And if that's the case, why does this photo matter? Other than to show the jury that she's posing up with gang members. That is the entire point of all of these exhibits, Your Honor. And
Well, but then she's taking photos and saving them to her phone of herself with gang members making gang signs.
my response to that is so what? Why does that matter to you?
Well, to me, it seems like it goes to the weight the jury is supposed to give as opposed to admissibility.
But just wait and what, Your Honor?
Okay, first of all, you guys stood up in opening statement, okay? And you told this jury, and there is no evidence she's a gang member. She's associated with a gang member.
It's not just, it's further than that, Your Honor.
I'm not done.
The judges own it because, again, when I said this in the last 2 videos, the defense opened up saying that she had no knowledge, no recollection of, she's not involved in no form, shape, or fashion. But to turn around as we're actually watching, different pieces of evidence come out saying, hey, she knows. She's with the members. Okay, let's just say she's with the members taking pictures. She throwing up the set. Make that make sense. And see, this is why the judge stopped it right there, because she understands the defense is falling apart right here in front of her face. The judge understands they're getting caught up. From one attorney to the next attorney to the next attorney on the defense side, guess what they all got up there and did? Contradicted the opening statement, which is why they're in the position that they're in now. This is the cleanup. But guess what? We on the speedy trial and the state's about to wrap up. Make that make sense. Let's dig.
So you get up an opening statement and you say, this was just a romantic getaway. She thought she was going with her boyfriend somewhere. She didn't know any of these individuals involved. She had no idea that this was going to be a gang-related anything. That's what you told this jury, an opening statement.
Yeah, specifically that she didn't know the individuals involved in this murder.
Okay.
And they haven't shown you any evidence of that. They're going on a rampage about 50 people that are not involved in this case. Rashad Murphy. We haven't heard anything about that. You heard Sean Gathrine's grandma testify. I've never seen her before. There's no evidence even that they even had a relationship outside of her knowing who she was. But again, Your Honor, what does that have to do with this murder? I'm sorry.
Again, everything. It has everything to do with it because it's the context of the law of principle. Y'all said she has no knowledge of, no recollection of. So it is contextual. They're trying to charge her from the law of principle, meaning that she was a principal party that was involved in this situation, whether she was the shooter or not the shooter. She was a principal party that led in the unaliving of Julio Foolio. And now you want the character evidence to be taken out or looked at a different way? Okay. The truth is in the details, which is what the state is presenting. What y'all are presenting is point of view. Point of view and perspective doesn't win a court case. Let's dig.
Counsel is like talking sideways in my ear. It's very distracting.
Okay. All right, let's look at the next one, which is C14. And what is this?
This is a screenshot of J. Breezy's music video that was also saved to the device in 2019. There were some indications regarding the earlier, screen shares or screenshots that were taken in the case that the gang detectives talked about. But most importantly, J. Breezy is linked to this case as having provided payment to Ms. Andrews' boyfriend. Ms. Andrews had obviously testified in her interview, and we expected to come out in testimony that she was not with that boyfriend at this time, putting her having knowledge of this individual at the time of at least this screenshot, which would have been back in 2019. He's the one who provided payment to Mr. Chance for the Airbnb before Mr. Chance provides payment for the Airbnb to this day.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. So this is a screenshot of, I didn't see which one it was. This is a screenshot of a music video?
Yes. So I'm going to sustain the objection as to C14. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next one, C15.
15 and 16 are both screenshots from what was discussed by the detectives yesterday relating to the cell phone evidence that they had seen or observed with this defendant's communication with ATK Keys or Marquis Worthy.
And what is it? What is it I'm looking at? Exactly?
These are, both 15 and 16 are screenshots that were saved to Ms. Andrews.
Look at the defense. Look at the defense. Tell me this looks like a defense team that's actually winning a case right now. Look. Head down. Look at the body language. Shoulders drop. Hands covered. Don't throw up the Illuminati. We don't want to see it. Look at her face. She know. Look at his face. The whole defensive team is on the fence and on edge right now because they understand what's happening right here in front of them. Look at this. Character evidence. This is a sign of defeat.
Andrews' device. And it is an Instagram chat. So when you open up your messages on Instagram, it is the chain of the messages. These messages depict her messages with an ATK piece, which has been identified as Marquis Worthy.
And these are from 2020?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So at this time, I'm going to sustain the objection as to these. Now, they may become relevant at some point. See what the testimony is?
Yes,
and I'm going to overrule the objection as to 75C12 and 75C13. Okay?
And Your Honor, I just, so that's how the jury comes in, we also, like I said, don't believe they'll even be able to get testimony as to who those individuals are. Let me confirm, you allowed in, was it 13?
The screenshots that show Ms. Andrews with the other individuals as direct evidence of her knowledge.
Yeah, so that we can avoid any potential argument. If the argument is authentication, these items were obtained from the device download that was obtained pursuant to a search warrant from law enforcement for the device. So I'm not sure what the legal objection is, but
I mean, there's a lot of legal objections, but the biggest one is that in order for these, I guess, to become, I don't think relevant, but who's going to establish who these individuals are? Just because they're in her phone and they got, certification of
I don't
business
know,
records.
I don't know
doesn't mean
that, I don't know
all
the
of
state,
them-
I don't know the state has to, okay? So we'll see. All right,
So let's dig. Now the state, phew, man, you talking about dot their I's, cross their T's? But let's spin the block and talk about the defense. Now the defense looks lost. They already look defeated. Like it's a sad situation to watch this whole group just collectively sit over here and get stuck. The objections all day. The young black attorney losing his character, getting emotional over the objections because he doesn't understand what irrelevant means. He doesn't understand 403 objection for irrelevant. He doesn't get it, but he got it today. Then you see the other attorney. She comes up. You want to alter character evidence to not show this girl sitting up here throwing up the set. You don't want the jury to understand her knowledge of. And then the judge, man, she had to put her foot down because she sees the defense is falling apart. You caught the judge several times smiling. Even when she made the first ruling on the first piece of evidence that the defense objected to, the judge allowed it all to come in. And the defense thought that they won. You can't make this up. Like, this is a sad situation, but this was defeat. But stay tuned to the next part of the video because, man, I'm about to show you exactly how this ruling early in the day actually backfired on the defense and worked in favor for the state. Y'all think the defense actually did good with these actual objections, or were they actually played by the state and played into the hands of the state? Is Alicia Andrews on her way home or headed back to cell block 6? Y'all make sure y'all jump in the comments. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Hit that like button on your way out. Jump in the comments. Let me know. Now, another video I do want to make sure that we talk about is I do believe that this case has another case brewing, but I believe that the state is still dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Just think about how they keep talking about Young and Ace and ATK Keys. Man, till next time, y'all remember, the greater the height, the greater the weight. I'm your host, Jay. Y'all stay vigilant, stay dangerous. And always remember, the life you save could be your very own. The perfect example with Alicia Andrews. She could have saved 2 lives, but instead, she threw them away over 1. Cold game. The life you save could be your very own. Till next time, I'm your host, Jay. Gone.